take a moment to look at this view and enjoy the laid-back feeling of it as the music fades away. What if I told you that what you're listening to now is fake and that this is how it really sounds like? What you don't see is that right behind this amazing view, the noise pollution is masking the sounds that tell the story of this place. And that's exactly what good ambience editing is all about. Story. So let's dive into Pro Tools and have a look at how to edit ambiences. Alright, cool. So you can see that right here, this file corresponds to the original soundscape of that place. And all of these other layers right here are designed ambiences. Well, sounds that I got from my sound effects libraries and edited them together to make the ambiences for those places. So what I'm going to do is just actually hide this track and make it inactive. And now I'm just going to play back so you can have a listen at what we've got here. The most important element that you need to consider when editing ambiences is the texture of a given space. So right here in this beach scene, we can imagine this place being calm, quiet, relaxing, chilled, and so on. And the main sounds that I can think of are birds, winds, people chatting in the background maybe, the ocean of course. Now something to keep in mind is that ambiences are related to everything that is happening around a character in a movie. So for example, in this scene, the person cycling would be covered by Foley, and the same goes with this couple, so the footsteps would be covered by Foley. And if there was a jet ski passing by or a plane passing by, that would be a sound effect. So let's listen to this entire scene and see what's going on here. Okay, so we have a layer of wind and then some birds here. And also don't mind the title of a file just because it says ambience of a graveyard. If it works with the correct mood of the scene, then it doesn't matter the name, it just matters how it sounds like. So we have a couple layers of ocean and then some seagulls and then other birds. Now you're probably wondering, okay, I get it. So the best way to edit ambiences is by adding a bunch of layers and figuring out what sounds good and what doesn't, right? But why would I need 8 layers for something that I can simply edit with 4 or 3 layers? Well, imagine this situation. You're in the mix stage and your director says, hey, I don't like that wind. Would you have another one? And if you don't, that would mean more time and money to be spent doing something that you could have done before. But anyways, once you find your amount of layers, it's time to start automating the sounds so it all makes sense. So this wind, that is just too loud. So I'm just gonna lower it down a notch. Now the birds are too loud. Yeah, okay, this graveyard ambience doesn't really work. So ocean. That's alright, but I'm gonna leave it way down. Okay, I'm just gonna balance the levels here and I'll meet you in a second. Okay, so have a listen. That's working pretty well. Now let's compare with the louder one right here. It works. And now what I'm gonna do is just balance the levels for all of the remaining ambiences and I'll meet you in another second. Okay, so I think I found the sweet spot that I was looking for, so have a listen. And there you have it. Now you can see that I muted some of the sounds, and this comes back to what I said before about always having more to work with, because it's way easier to just mute a file and get rid of it instead of having to go back to the editing stage and sourcing a new sound. You know, it's just too cumbersome. It's always better to figure everything out before hitting the mix and just enjoying the fun of mixing. But anyways, something that I also need to mention, it's very common to have the first two tracks of backgrounds or ambiences panned to the center. Now, why is that? Well, because you can also use ambiences to support the dialogue. So that could be wind if it's outside or room tone if it's inside. So just come here and click with option. And I'm just gonna raise the volume so you can really hear what's going on. So you can hear that right now it sounds very narrow. And when I go back, next and finally is something very important, is to rename the files and color them accordingly as well, just because it's easier to visualize from afar what sound is what sound with the first word instead of having a bunch of stuff written at the sides. So right here I have this A and B. I know that I'm editing ambiences. I want to know what is the sound telling me specifically. So you can come here and let's say that's more like seagulls to me. So I'm gonna type in seagull. This one is barely audible right now, so I'm just gonna raise it. This one could be light wind. This could be crickets. And then when I zoom out, you can really see what is the sound all about. So crickets, seagull, and then light wind. And also, let's just color the winds, say blue. And say all of the birds and seagulls are green. So all of these minor details is just make it easier for the mixer to visualize everything. Because of course you know where things are located and where did you put everything, but the mixer doesn't. So it's always good to make his or her lives easier. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please leave your comment down below. I think that I covered everything with enough detail. But of course, these examples are very simple, which is always the objective of these videos. That's pretty much it for me. I hope that you enjoyed the video. And as always, I wish you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya!